So, good evening guys, welcome to stage 5 of Build the OpenRC Tractor by Makit Pro. In this episode, what we're going to do is we're going to be working on the rice raker. What we're going to do, I wanted to break this down into blocks, so that each block of 3 videos we're doing something similar. What the rough aim is that we'll spend 1 month building, working on the tractor. Then the next month we'll work on something that's not actually directly related to the tractor, you know, like this month we're doing a couple of additions. Then the next month we'll go back to the different part of the tractor. Next month we'll do something else, and then backwards and forwards, and then the whole thing should all come together. So because last stage we talked about mods, this next couple of videos, although they're not technically mods because they were designed by Makit Pro, I've decided to work on the rice raker this stage, and then something else the next stage, just to try and, as much as we can, do a loose theme. So we'll do the rice raker this stage, and then I have a bonus mod for you which I will save towards the end of the video. Okay guys, so let's crack on with it. Okay, so normally we look at the prints first, but I'm going to have a quick look at the electronics this week because there aren't any. So you see there's nothing for week 5, although I am advising to get some screws later on. And then as usual we'll have a look at 4 weeks in advance because of the delivery times, and we see we'll need some LED lights for week 9. And these are the LED lights. Now you can make these yourself for a fraction of the cost, but I've got to be honest with you, for £1.61, 2 lights, well, you get 10 but you're only going to use 2. I think it's going to be much easier. Okay, so let's look at the prints. I had a few problems with the computer today, so I've already preloaded these up, but the files, there's 3 files. You've got rice, tractor rake dents and universal hook. And then I've multiplied the universal hook by 1 just to give us 2 hooks. Now you may be worried about supports. You can do these with supports. It'll add about 5 hours to the print time, and I don't think there's too many problems. I will show you the difference between support and no support later on my printer. And I've done the universal hooks in black. That's my choice for them, and that's the colour I do recommend, but it's your tractor, you do what colour you want. These 2 pieces here, you've got 2 rice rakes. I'll explain why they're different as we're building them, but I've opted to do these in a wood coloured filament. I personally wouldn't use a wood filament because a wood filament tends to be quite weak, and I think if you actually use the tractor outside you could snap these prongs off. So go with a wood coloured filament, and then there will be a total of, let's call it 12 hours print time, which obviously you can split into 2. I think the rice rakes take about 4 hours, and the universal hooks about 8 hours. Okay, so these are the parts that I've printed off. We've got 2 rice rakes and we've got 2 universal hooks. Now I did speak about the support needed. This one has been printed with supports, and you can see that's come out absolutely perfect. Not a thing wrong with it. It took me about 5 minutes to remove the supports, little bit of a tidy up. It was hard work. I was worried I was going to break the part, but yeah, it came out okay. This one was printed without supports, and you can see I've just got a very slight bit of bridging issue there. Not much. And to be honest with you, I'm not doing anything about it because the tractor's going to be here, the rice rake's going to be here, and the bridging issue is there. So it's not going to be seen anyway unless you're actually looking for it. So let's put these together. So what we need is 4 nuts. You see I've only got 2 because I've put 1 together to save us a bit of time later. And we need 4, I think these are 6mm, but equally you could use 8mm screws, and these are countersunk because there is actually a little countersunk hole going in there. So the first thing we need to, we've got little holes there for our nuts, and I find there's 2 ways to put these in. If we just, first of all, we can just pop the nut in there, no problems. I say that and I'm having problems. So they should just pop in. There we go, that's gone in absolutely fine. And that's a really stiff fit. How well it goes in really depends on your printer. Now the other way I find to do it, if you have a problem getting it in, get yourself a longer screw, bolt, sorry, and I'll need a different head for that. I knew that would be too big. That's way too big. Right, so yeah, if you are struggling to get your nut in there, get yourself a longer screw, much longer, and then just pop the nut on the end. These are very fiddly. These are only M3s, you see, so they are fiddly to get in. This is the one bit I hate about the 3D print. Well, I don't hate it, but it's awkward because I struggle to get the nuts in. They're just so tiny, and I'm really not very good at using tweezers. So what we'll do is we'll get the nut in there, and then what we'll do is we will then manipulate that into so it's almost there, and then what we'll do is we will, oh, the head's fallen out of the screwdriver. Right, so we'll then do the screw up, and then once we get it to almost tight, we just make sure that that bolt is lined up. We just hold the nut down, and then we'll continue to screw the nut up, the bolt, and then what that will do is that will pull, see, that's pulling that nut into the hole, and then we undo the screw like so, just until we can undo it with the fingers, which I still can't do. An electronic screwdriver would be fantastic here, wouldn't it? So there we go. There we go, and that's left that nut in there behind. Okay, so once we've got those nuts in, the next stage is to pop in one of the rice rakes. Now, well, if you hold the universal hook this way, you'll see you've got a longer side and two short sides. That is the direction that it's going to go, the longer side at the top. So these need to go down, and all we need to do is just pop in one screw there. And I like to pop this first one in, but just give it half a turn, and then that gives us the pivot room just to pop the second screw in, and then we can pop this screw in as tight as we like, not too tight because it's plastic. And then what you'll find is, because that shape in the plastic there is the exact same shape as the bolt, as the nut, sorry, it will stop that from turning, so it will tighten. So we'll quickly do this one, and then that will be the end of that stage, and then I can show you my bonus mod. How exciting is that? So that one goes into there. Just that, oops, not quite enough of a turn there. Just all you want to do is just get it to bite. It is quite tricky because these screws are so short, there isn't actually an awful lot. You don't need many turns between going no bite at all to absolutely full. That is only about 2 or 3 turns. There we go. And there's your 2 rakes. So the reason the rakes are different sizes is because these are obviously scaled down to about 1/10 scale, and on the real tractor this is how you want it. And what will happen is you'll have a big pile of rice, and then this will go over and it'll just level the rice out. However, when Makit Pro tested it, he tested it on rice. Now obviously he couldn't, the rice was real size, so in effect, because this was scaled down from 1 to 1 to 1 to 10, in effect he's raking rice that is 10 to 1 scale, 10 times bigger than it should be, and he found that often it didn't work, so he made this one just so it was a little bit more practical. So this is more of a scale version, but this is a more practical version. So I suggest most people want to build this one, but we've built 2 of them, and you see I've got a nice wood coloured filament. And the great thing about wood is that there's 200 different colours of wood, so no one can say, well, that's not an accurate colour of wood. But I really like this. I mean, you could weather it up if you wanted to, use a darker shade, but I'm really happy with this. Okay, so I'll show you the bonus mod. I promised you a bonus mod, and here it is. So I've actually made a 1 to 10 scale traffic cone. So I downloaded the files, and I had a little bit of problem. I thought that these files, there's actually 4 files. I'll open them all at once. So my initial thought of this was that you've got a traffic cone full there, you've got a base which they've called traffic cone black, you've got these pieces, you can see there's some airborne pieces there, which would be printed off in orange, and then these pieces would be printed in white. And I thought you'll print them all off and then stick them together. However, that didn't really work. My printer had a lot of problem with them, so instead I sort of like experimenting, and what I did is you slice it. This will take a while, I do apologise. I think it takes about an hour to print that, but obviously we want it in 1, 2, 3 different colours. So I've taken the preview, and then I've calculated roughly where the base finishes. And doing this from memory, the actual cone starts at layer 16. So we have this feature I've never used before. It's extensions, post-processing, modified G-code. And then what we do, I'll take that out so you can see me put it in. So we add a script and we do filament change, and then we do one at layer 16. There we go. And then we keep doing that, and we do it at various stages until we get to the actual, like, so we'll do another filament change round about there, and then another one there. The original model, you see there's two white stripes. I've simplified it a bit by putting one white stripe in. So what we'll do is we'll do a filament change there and another filament change there. What a filament change command will do is it will be printing away quite happily, and then as soon as it finishes a layer, the nozzle will lift up, it'll come all the way to the beginning, and then it will just eject some filament, and then it will wait for you to reinsert the filament. So let me show you my results. Okay, so this is actually my second draft of my traffic cone. The first draft I actually changed the layer height too much, so this last black layer actually came out orange. Overall I am quite happy with the results. However, I found that where it did a filament change, I don't know if you can see it there, it creates a massive blob. And you know, this cone is okay, but you have got a bit of cleanup to do. So I ran a theory, and I thought surely only one can blob. So I actually printed 9 on one print bed with the intention of getting 8. So this is one of them, and you can see lots of blobbing there. Just turn the light out a moment. There you go. See, there's a blob there where the filament changed. However, the other 8, as predicted, all came out absolutely perfect. So there you go, guys. We have now got, these will go in the bin unless somebody wants them, defective traffic cones, but these have come out perfect. I may experiment further. Perhaps I could print this black layer in a flexible filament with PLA on the top, but to be honest with you, I think these are fantastic. I'm really pleased with the results. So there you go, guys. So that's it then for this this stage, and hopefully I'll see you in the next stage. Take care. Bye bye.